Radio1337.
Hey, man, I'm trying to do my little beatbox thing here, man. Anyone getting? I hear the laughter coming from the women in our show, but I don't hear anything from Tengu's side. What's up?
I'm not the women in the show.
Oh, well, yeah, obviously, but you have nice long locks of hair like what women do.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I couldn't really think of anything to say or sing, so I decided to do beatbox today. I
Next
had
time, come prepared.
Yeah, well, I had my first job was I was a discovery guide at the Children's Museum up in San Jose, and I would greet these children of anywhere from like 30 to like 1,000 kids.
Oh, I thought you were talking about ages for a second.
No, I would. They would be in ranges from 5 to like teenagers, and I would carry this portable mic so that I could I wouldn't yell, and when I brought them in, I would do a little beatbox, and I would have them march and whatever I did. Right? It's been a long time since I've done it, but anyway.
And this was at a museum?
It was a museum. Yeah, I tried to make it fun. A children's museum. Children's museum. You can interact with everything. That kind of thing.
So you had to make it fun?
Yeah.
What were the children's reactions to this?
Yeah.
Oh, they loved it. They were all marching. They're like, "Yeah, let's do this."
Oh, man.
God.
Yeah, and they would sway like me, and I would jump around and blah blah blah. Anyway,
How long did that job last?
this is Mouse.
I'm
This
doing
is Radio
my
1337.
best not to say something.
We're in the box here with the girls and the guys going up against each other.
Needing air.
Yeah, in this
Grasping
nice,
for
hopefully
it.
air-conditioned room, and over to my far front is
Vixen.
Vixen and
Raina.
Raina. Oh
Over
my
paying
gosh.
attention to her computer and not to the host is
Right next to me is the
Tengu.
man, Tengu.
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 He got an introduction this time.
No,
For a change.
I was planning to introduce him last time. He just was like cutting in and be like, "Where's my introduction, bitch?"
Halfway
Who's
through
you?
the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I was planning on introducing him eventually at the show end. This is Radio 1337 on UrbanNightsRadio.com. The sound of artists sitting in a room, just chilling and trying to squeeze in and listening to each other fart and smelling it.
Oh.
Because I was way, way too lazy to go and get the table we normally use for the live room.
You know,
So
that-
Oh, yeah.
they
did
got
I
to
tell
deal
you
with
I
it.
ate a chimichanga with lots of beans in it today, and
Shut
a
they
nice
would.
Over
tall
here.
horchata, which they were selling. The students were selling like homemade horchata, which means that better watch out, guys.
I am glad I'm over here.
I'm kidding. I'm not. I don't do that kind of stuff. I would much rather stop the show, go outside, fart up a storm, than come back in.
Even though
So
you
you guess
won't.
this when we leave.
I'd be like, Tengu, join me.
Oh, we're having a fart party?
I know this is getting a little degrading, but hey, this is Radio 1337. We can do whatever we want to here.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Pretty much.
All right. So today we're going to have our usual news segment, and then Vixen's going to have her little weapon segment.
Yep.
And Raina's going to have her little board game segment because for some strange reason she ends up bringing board games that I have in my collection. And so when I come into the studio, she is sewing these. She has this board game sitting there. I think it's mine.
Oh,
Yeah. Well,
whatever.
no, I brought that game yesterday to our board game club, and nobody played it. But you're here. You brought the game, and I thought it was mine.
Hey, and I played it. Hey, tore mine up fresh from the package.
Tour.
Yeah.
Like tour?
No, not that kind of tour.
Not like the museum tour.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Kind of like the fresh new car that you buy.
You
Yeah.
tear into a new car?
Yeah, because
You tore into a new car?
yeah, you
Pedal
go
pumping.
in it.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I had some weird thoughts about that. Okay, let's go on. Let's do the news, all right? You guys remember Toontown Online?
Teen Town. Mm-mm.
Barely.
Toontown Online. It was this kind of kiddie kind of online. It was Disney's attempt to make an online thing. It was a while ago. Toontown Online. They were doing a bunch of promos for it, and it was supposed to be Disney's answer to World of Warcraft aimed towards kids, and it didn't really do very well.
Now, when you
Wow.
say answer to World of Warcraft, do you just mean like they wanted to have an MMO that would be as popular, or was it supposed to legitimately like be the Warcraft of bad
Disney.
games?
I think it was probably supposed to be the Warcraft of kids' bad games, but Toontown Online, unfortunately, is going to be shutting down next month. So all of you
Aw,
guys-
Wait, it was still
sadly.
going?
Yeah, apparently. I actually remember interviewing for a job on Toontown Online, and I wanted to do it. It was going to be cool, and I had so many ideas to change it because it was really simplistic looking, because you can't really kill anybody in Toontown Online. And so
Well, they're
that
toons.
created a
You
bunch of
can't
like
kill
challenges.
toons.
Yeah, you can't kill tunes. But it's shutting down on September 19th. It's a non-violent MMO, and
MMO.
you basically fought against things called cogs, using like non-lethal weapons like a bat.
I thought you were
No.
going to say plunger. A bat?
I don't know.
So
Have you
I,
seen
I
zombie
remember
movies?
playing it a little bit just to get some research on it, and I just was like, this is so lame. But, you know, so is RuneScape, and for some reason that thing's still online. You guys play RuneScape at all? RuneScape? Anybody?
no,
No,
I
no,
didn't.
no.
It's still
Apparently,
online.
You know, they're making way for this other little Disney thing called Disney Infinity. I don't know if you guys heard of that.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
I've heard
about
Disney
that.
Infinity. I was in the student store today, and there was a new employee there, and she was telling me all about how she bought it for her son, the $75 initial bundle for her son to play, you know, Disney Infinity, and it comes with 3 different figures, and you can go into these worlds, and then you can play in these worlds, and then you can, the more you play, the more you can customize your world, so you can start mixing worlds together, which I think sounds cool.
So
But-
basically, she's just giving the ticket to never see him again.
Pretty much. Pretty much. A
Okay.
5-year-old kid. So, you know, in about a few years, you know,
He'll
she
be ready
might
to
see
move
him
on to
again
WoW.
after he's hit puberty.
Wow.
So
wow.
it's totally true, man. It's totally true.
Yeah.
All right. So, speaking of like new games, right? So Diablo 3 just announced, actually no, Blizzard just announced Diablo 3's new expansion, Reaper of Souls. Yeah, like that's not, you know, that's just that's what they announced it. And
Couldn't be a
that's
new
kind of
game.
funny
Nope.
that they use like a whole press release to just announce a game. New expansion for Diablo 3. Director Josh Mosquera took the stage to reveal the new class, the Crusader, a burly and heavily armed character. It's going to have a new act, just like the expansion for Diablo 2 had a new act. A higher level cap, of course. A new endgame options and more loot.
Now, is this the thing that new trailer came out for as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, because I saw that trailer and it
That
was
trailer was beautiful.
yeah, it
Mm.
was crazy too. Like
Yeah, it was their official announcement.
everybody dies. Except for one guy.
So
Hmm.
when
The player.
a company can just get a lot of news for just announcing a new game, then you know you're in a pretty good position
Oh, yeah.
as far as, you know.
It's Blizzard.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah, apparently. So, you know, you guys play Plants vs. Zombies, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Plants vs. Zombies. You know, Plants vs.
What?
Zombies, they're the second one that just came out. Have you guys played that one yet?
No.
I've
It
seen
looks
it
cool.
gameplay.
It's pretty cool. You go back in time and you get to play against like, you know, Pharaoh, Egyptian zombies, and it's pretty funny.
Wouldn't that be mummies?
No,
Yes.
it's zombies.
Zombies.
I'm just saying.
No.
Technically the same thing.
If they go to Mexico, they would be called poppies. Oh, get it? Mommy, puppy, mommy, puppy.
Oh, man.
Okay, that was bad.
Continuing the tradition.
You like that one,
Yeah.
huh? That was a good
No.
joke. You guys got to admit, that was a good one.
It's this Pinoy side coming
Yeah,
out of him.
yeah. Okay, so Plants vs. Zombies 2, with the help of having it be free on the iTunes store, has been downloaded over 16 million times. Free-to-play iOS sequel. Developed by EA Studio PopCap Games. 16 million times since its launch last Thursday. And wow, it's... what the hell? Is that a...
Just listen to that.
And I thought I was the bad one with the phone.
Your face was priceless when it went off. Just saying.
I was like, what the? I thought I turned it off. I guess it's still on.
I guess it's hard for anything to be turned off around you.
Oh.
Hey. I'm probably like the magnet.
Oh my god. Quick, turn her off. She's gone. All right. So you guys should go get it. It's free. Plants vs. Zombies 2. And of course, because it's free, you're going to have to pay for all new content and all that stuff.
All
so.
the in-game transactions and all
Blah,
that.
blah, 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 blah. Yeah, all that stuff. And you know that's not the only sequel coming out for Plants vs. Zombies. You know that? I was at the EA conference several months ago, and they announced Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. And I believe I've talked about this like a bunch of,
I think so.
bunch of episodes ago.
I think we had like a whole branch off about Plants vs. Zombies.
Garden Warfare. Yeah,
yeah.
I talked about the new classes and all that stuff, but it's not going to be on the Xbox One or the PlayStation 3. It's going to move into other platforms, and it's going to go into like PC, and they're really going to try and expand this new first-person version of Plants vs. Zombies. I don't know. I keep thinking
Wouldn't it
of
be,
different. Huh?
Wouldn't it be first plant, not first person?
Look at Miss Technical over here.
You don't make really good jokes there, girl.
No, not today.
She's like,
I am tired. I am really tired.
Have they shown anything of how the gameplay is gonna look? Because I just
At
imagine.
the conference they did, and it's pretty fun. It's
Is it like a rail shooter or what?
no, it's first you're third person shooter because you're actually kind of right over the shoulder, and you're seeing it's 3D Plants vs. Zombies, and you're running around this 3D space, and then you see bosses coming, just like Plants vs. Zombies, the new wave of zombies is approaching, right? And then from out of nowhere you'll see them on the outer skirts
So is
or
it like
whatever.
Silent Hill 2's Mist kind of thing? Like just zombies appear.
You know what?
out
I
of
kind
the-
of compare it to what was that? It's that mode in Halo where it's just like enemies that just keep coming. I keep forgetting. Oh my god! And then those people. Hey, watch. You know what's happening? People are out on the radio, are just shouting it out,
Oh.
and they're like, "No, you're an idiot." You know what this is called?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, it's
It's like waves of people.
Firefight.
Yeah, that's
Woo!
what it's called.
God.
Yeah, and then all these people on the listening to us are gonna be like, "Oh, he finally got it, you stupid idiot! Oh my gosh, you don't know games, you punk!"
I didn't play Firefight as much as Campaign.
I like
Campaign
Firefight.
was fun.
I
It
really
was
did
fun.
like Firefight.
You know, I preferred ODST Firefight in comparison to Reach.
Oh yeah, I was an ODST person myself, and
Yeah.
I just like.
Well, no, I liked Reach more in terms of campaign, but I
Oh
liked
no, I was
ODST
ODST campaign all the
and
way.
everything. Well, I mean, ODST campaign was good. It definitely brought like a whole new twist. I liked learning what happened on New Mombasa and everything after the fact, but
I just don't like the fact that you're like every Halo game besides ODST and like Halo Wars, where all the Halo games it was just like you go from A to B to C to D to E to F and G, and that's the end of the game. ODST, you can choose wherever the hell you want to go in the city. At least that's for me.
I guess kind of, but even then, I mean, it is still technically linear. It's just you can go a bunch of different pathways, but you follow a linear set of rules.
Yeah, but if I wanted to just like kill like groups of monsters, I can roam around the city and start pocking people off. Like I love doing that. Just I get like I'd run around until I see a group of like 3 or 4, and I just like zoom in with my scope and boom, 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 and they freak out, right? Just because, and then I get that stupid like little perk where like yay, where you hit them in the head. It's really really cool.
The grunt party or whatever.
Yeah,
it was called.
yeah. Anyway, let's take a break. You know, we're on about 15 right now, so we're gonna take a break right now. When we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit more about hacking and PlayStation 4 and all these kind of good little goodies. Okay, peace.
Hey, this is Tengu from Radio 1337, and you are listening to Urban Nights Radio, the sound of artists.
Boing.
All right, we're ready to rock and roll. This is Radio 1337, the sound of artists at urbannightsradio.com.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm getting everything all confused.
As
And
usual.
Mouse is just going crazy because I just downed a green monster right before I got in here. And literally just 5 minutes before I walked in the studio, I had this monster, and Tengu was like, "Take that out! Or drink it all!" And I'm like, all right, I'm drinking it all, so whatever.
Well, that's one way of putting it. The other way of putting it is, here we are in a professional environment, and you're going to go and set an open container of liquid onto the same table as a $10,000 board.
No, I believe what you said was chug, 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 chug. You didn't really say it that way.
No, I didn't. It's a good thing we're not monetizing.
Speaking of monetizing, games journalists, there's a journalist out there that wants to create this bi-monthly web show, and she's turning to Kickstarter to fund her little show. I was under the impression that all the game journalists kind of did everything on their own with their own money, or if they were like kind of sponsored by some other. Apparently, this woman, Sophie Prell, has launched Kickstarter to fund a bi-monthly web show focusing on video games. Like, whoever does shows on video games, right?
Is she at least attractive?
Oh, that says it all right there.
Yeah,
She's
so-
about
Says
she's
it
about an 8.
About an 8.
all. An
Not
8?
bad.
What?
So throwing a few bucks her way to see her on camera isn't necessarily a bad thing.
She's kind
That's
of
what
like the
you're
girl
saying.
next door looking.
What type of girl next door?
She's brunette, fairly cute. I can show you a picture.
Wow.
Okay, I'm down.
Let's see. Sophie Prell, right here. There it is. She is. Yeah.
She's all right.
Yeah. She's about an 8, right?
She's wearing too much for my taste, but
She's not like drop dead
Clothes or
gorgeous,
makeup,
but
'cause
she's
I
definitely
can't
like the girl
see.
next door. looking.
clothes.
Go
Because
fig.
see, if I'm gonna pay
Yeah.
someone to put on a show that I could just find like a million other ones on YouTube, then she better be wearing like damn near next to nothing, and look incredible doing it.
But is it worth
Interesting
$16,000 to
No.
fund that?
No, she's not
To
$16,000
run 2
worth.
shows a month for 10 months? It's only 20 shows.
I'm like, people. What does she expect to do with it? Like, what sort of production is she talking about putting on here?
I don't know, a web show, which means she probably has to have equipment like a computer, a decent camera, some like some other things that need like lavalier mic or some, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, but even all that, you can get decent enough for like less than half of that price.
That's what I'm saying there. Look, that's why
So,
I'm thinking
is she
16,000 is
talking,
kind of
like,
big.
Is she hiring like a whole crew? Is she getting like, full on like overlays and all that kind of stuff?
Man, if I had
or-
$16,000, I'd have like
Are we gonna have some green screen going on in there? Does she need someone to
Probably.
roto for her?
I'd spend $6,000 on equipment and the rest of it on strippers
Makes sense.
in my studio.
What about getting like voice actors for games to come on to the show or something?
Oh,
like
that's
that?
$100. I'm kidding. I know a lot of.
I was like, what are we talking? Like the bottom of the
actually-
barrel extras?
I actually know a bunch of voice actors off camera, and so I could probably get like interviews and blah blah blah. In fact,
Favors for a handy.
I just saw the card on my desk. It was for Epcar Enterprises, who the owner is Richard Epcar, who does the voice of Bateau, Ghost in the Shell,
Yay!
and he's done a bunch of other things. In fact, he's actually the co-producer for the new Batman Arkham Origins, which I'm really excited about. There.
Oh.
I just watched the new trailer for Arkham Origins today, like the one that came out like a few days ago.
Yeah.
And at first I was kind of skeptical of it, and the more I keep watching it, the more I'm just like, oh my god, this is gonna be awesome. Like seeing how like the new Joker and the new Batman act on one hand is already like cool, but what is the girl's name? Like, is it
Harley Quinn?
Harley?
No, it's not Harley Quinn. It's the
I
Snake
know.
Girl.
Oh,
Like,
you
it's like-
mean Poison Ivy? No.
Snake.
Snake Girl?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's like Cottonmouth or Copperhead or something like
Oh,
that.
I think
Let me look it up real quick, but
Copperhead
like,
sounds close.
I think it's Copperhead. Like I want to say it's let's see.
I don't remember Snake Girl. I
Arkham
remember a Snake Guy.
Copper.
Yeah, I know a guy named
Yeah,
Copperhead.
it's Copperhead. Okay, yeah,
a
she
girl?
is sexy as hell. Like I'll be dead serious. Like
Well, if you have a bunch of guys doing the modeling, of course she's gonna look sexy. As
well,
hell.
no, it's not office hot sexy. It's like she's legitimate. Like she moves like a damn snake, and she like wraps around Batman and then kicks his ass. It's just like, I want to get beat up by her.
Wow.
I'm still wrapping my head around the fact that it's a female Copperhead when I'm so used to seeing the male one. Again,
Mhm.
it's like,
Well, they needed some. Here you go. You can
I
take a
do
look. Just look at that, like,
concur.
even with short hair. I don't like girls with short hair, and it works on her. Like,
it works.
It works well.
You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of WWE. There's a wrestler. Her name is AJ, and she does this finisher called Black Widow, and she literally just wraps around the opponent, and she does a submission move where she has the arms pulled back, but she never like takes the person to the ground. She has them while they're standing and submits them while they're standing. It's ridiculous looking submission, but that kind of reminds me of the whole copper pot. I mean, sorry.
I'm like,
Copper top. A copper.
well, technically, she is kind of pulling a bit of a copper top thing.
Oh yeah.
I'm thinking too much of batteries. Sorry.
Yeah. Radio 1337
boy.
brought to you by Duracell.
Yeah. In unrelated
we'll
news.
take hold. Just wanted to point out,
All right.
since we're talking about AJ,
Okay.
she actually like came out a few episodes back and was trying to do a whole Harley Quinn thing. Like she had the same kind of like she had a corset going on. She had the red and black motif. She had her
Oh,
hair
in
in
WWE.
pigtails. Yeah.
Yes, you did. You're right.
And like
did.
she even called Dolph Ziggler Puddin'.
That's
Like
right.
she went full on
That's
for
right.
it, and I don't think that it went well because I haven't seen her do it since. But I would have been interested in seeing
well, no,
that
that's
develop more.
when her and Dolph Ziggler were still together.
No,
They're
no,
not
that was the
together
breakup.
anymore. That was the breakup.
That was the breakup. So like she brought out like a suitcase full of his crap and was like
Oh, I
doing her
remember
whole
that. I
"oh
remember
I'm
that.
crazy" thing.
I remember that.
And yeah, I thought it was funny that she tried to go for like
The whole
you know,
Harley Quinn crazy thing.
Yeah.
Well,
I-
that's not the only time they've done superhero-ish like things. Like Rey Mysterio had done a lot of
Well, Rey
superhero
Mysterio is just the best.
costumes.
I mean, Rosie and the Hurricane. That's another one right there.
Oh,
They
that's
did
right.
like the
Back in the
full on
day.
like the Hurricane was a superhero essentially, and that didn't work out for him.
Well, I mean, would it be suffice to say like Sin Cara? It also has that kind of mystical kind of superhero-ish type of deal.
If he would stop hurting himself
I know,
and
right?
everyone else, then yeah.
Those WWE fans, yeah, we're just going into WWE and going nuts on this.
You know, if you haven't heard, Sin Cara's nickname behind the scenes is Botch Cara, because, you know,
He
so
always
many,
gets injured.
yeah, like so many moves that other luchadors have pulled off flawlessly, he is like just ruining. Like, how do you leap out of the room and dislocate your finger, or out of the ring and dislocate a finger?
Oh yeah, that's what happened last
Yeah,
week, right? And so what
And
happened
he had to signal the ref.
Yeah, he signaled the ref, and then Alberto Del Rio came down and started mocking him, saying, "Oh, you pussy, get back up!" And he literally was saying that to him during the match,
Yeah.
because they communicate during the match, and you gotta kind of help each other through the match to create a good show. And if you watch like YouTube, you'll see like what wrestlers say. There's some videos on what they actually say. While they're doing their matches, they'll say stuff like, "Are you okay?" And sometimes it's a big bump, or hit me twice, and then sunset flip, and you can hear it barely, but they do a little like subtitles, but they do communicate to each other to try and get a new show. But man, on that one, Alberto Del Rio was just like, "You pussy, get back up!" Blah, blah, blah. And he was just kicking the crap out of him, and
Yeah.
it's hilarious. Anyway, that's all insider. Like, yeah, I read a bunch of insider stuff, and that's because I'm so hardcore. Yeah. Anyway, talk about. Let's just move something
Hardcore.
else, right? Let's go. Let's Grand Theft Auto, since we're talking about fake violence, right? Grand Theft Auto 5. The one's coming out. Not
Yeah.
the one that I'm not working on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in Grand Theft Auto 5, you can smoke pot,
Oh.
Wow.
Because why
Amazing.
not?
because why
Yeah.
not, right?
Mhm.
So this is let's see. So apparently, let's see. The game contains, and I quote, implied fellatio and masturbation, various sex acts with a prostitute,
Nothing
sexual
new.
moaning sounds, nudity. Quote, it's with a topless lap dance at a strip club, exposed male genitalia in a non-sexual situation, sexual and mature humor, scene involving raw sewage and feces on a person, a brief instance of necrophilia,
Jeez.
drug use, smoking from a bong, lighting marijuana, joint, using cocaine, alcohol consumption, and drive while under the influence, and use words like bleep, 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 and whatever. It's F, C, and some dialogue. I can't really say that on the air because, you'll bleep me out anyway. So
Well, you could say just N. You don't have to bleep yourself with that.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of N-words out there. I mean, look at a dictionary.
How many bad N words are there? There's one specific one. If you say F, everyone knows what you're
Well,
talking
I could have
about.
said necrophilia.
Necrophilia is not a swear word.
Well, you go to a dictionary. There are hundreds of N-words, thousands of N-words.
Okay, if everyone already knew what you were talking about with F and C, why are they not going to know what you're talking about with N? You say
Well,
FCS.
that's
No
why-
one's going to
that's
think
why
that
I
you're
said-
talking about like a company.
That's why I said N-er.
No one needed the
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm just clarifying so that people know exactly what I'm talking about.
Dude.
Don't encourage him.
Grand Theft Auto 5 on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 will be released on September 17th.
Out of all that list, it still weirds me out that they have to put a disclaimer that like someone is going to be covered in sewage. Of all things, like
Here's
warning, there's someone covered in sewage.
Here's the funny thing: the headline says you can smoke pot, but everything that I said that's going to be in the game is worse than pot, right? Some necrophilia, some male genitalia, and some nudity coming here and there. I just think that's hilarious. Do you guys play like League of Legends at all?
No.
Not to change the subject on it, right? Totally, completely change the subject.
Yes.
Necrophilia, marijuana, League of Legends.
Yeah, well, 'cause they all go in the same. They're all in the same genre of.
The only way I can think of those being connected is someone trapped in a dark room with Cheez-Its and Mountain Dew with headphones.
Oh, there you go. Thank you very much.
That's the only way I can think of them being. I have a friend who does that, and it's kind of irritating.
They have necrophilia on a separate tab from League of Legends?
No. Never mind. Just. I meant the Grand Theft Auto in that train of thought, okay?
So, League of Legends.
Yeah, League of Legends. You know that's a really online game that's really popular right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Apparently, someone had hacked League of Legends and it stole approximately 120,000 transactions from records from 2011 that contained hashed and salted credit card numbers, and it has been accessed.
Ooh.
So possibly, if you guys had played during 2011, you might have lost your yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, Vixen. I'm pulling on my mustachio.
You're not a villain, though.
In fact, I'm actually huh?
You're not a villain, though.
Well, I could be a villain.
No. No.
You are the worst villain ever.
Yeah.
I
Well,
have to second that.
well, it goes. I couldn't play Batman, so
No, you couldn't.
No.
so I have to play the villain. I'm actually going to cut my mustache so that this grows out more. And
Well,
then what I'm going to do
you know
is
how to
I'm gonna
connect
let,
that,
what?
right? You know how to connect that, right?
I'm going to. I'm going to let it turn white and give sage and kung fu advice to people when I grow older, and wear white robes and be like.
Oh, yeah.
So you already butcher not only your own, but the Japanese language, and now you're going to try and ruin it for the Chinese too?
Absolutely. I am all Asia. All Asia.
All Asia.
I'm all Asia. All of Asia.
I'm sorry, Asia.
Yeah. Well, if your account wasn't compromised, then Then,
Good for
then,
you.
Yeah,
Lucky you.
good for you. The company is asking all the North American players to change their passwords within the next 24 hours to stronger passwords. Blah blah blah, and there's an investigation on it, and then we'll get back. But we are gonna have a break now, and after the break, we're gonna go into we'll do the game segment, and then we'll go into the moment segment. And that will be our show.
You're locked in to Radio 1337 here on Urban Nights Radio, the 50 Shades of Artists. We're back. Radio 1337, UrbanIceRadio.com, the sound of artists sitting in the room. And we got nothing else to do except for talk about games. So, Raina, we're going to go into the game section featuring Raina. Oh, poopers. Well, let me
Poopers.
yes. Let me introduce you to Summoner Wars Master Set. This was released in 2009. It's predominantly a hybrid board game. You play with boards and cards, and it comes with dice.
Nice.
Sounds like ice.
What?
And it comes with ice. Act quickly.
Quickly. Well, the board that it comes with, it opens up 6 ways when you lay it out.
It's pretty big. It's actually a 6 by 8. I would say square. It's rectangular, right? It's the shape of the cards. Those are each cell, and it was released in 2009 as just a card set, and it wasn't released. The master set was released later on. I believe it was released in 2010 or 2011, but it was released as a card set. But now it is You just buy the master set, and the master set just gives you everything you need to start.
Yeah, and if you want to expand on it, you would have to buy the extra boards, which is kind of a bummer for me because it doesn't normally when like these designers. I wonder, like, do they ever think of when they design the boards and the expansions? Like, you want them all to fit in the box, and obviously this one didn't.
Okay, so what she's talking about is that the original board, folds in like 6 ways. So it's a pretty thick piece of cardboard.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
And, so what you could do, it is meant for 2 players, but you can't expand it to 4, which you said earlier.
Yeah.
If you buy another board, and it becomes a 2 versus 2. But the thing is, you'd have to buy a second board, and the second board that they offer only folds. It's a 2-part board that connects, kind of fits together, but they fold one way. They don't fold like in thirds, like this thing does. And so when you fold the board that you buy, it doesn't fit in the original box.
Nope, it doesn't.
It's kind of weird like that, but I think that's really the only complaint I would have for this. So the game kind of plays like Magic mixed with chess.
Yes.
Because you're summoning creatures onto a battlefield. Now, in Magic, you're summoning creatures onto like this imaginary battlefield. You gotta have to use your imagination. Oh yeah, like some planes or whatever. But this one, it's the spaces on the board fit the card exactly, and the card ends up becoming a character on a field. And now you gotta deal with range and attacks and can they
Yes,
attack and movement and all that stuff. And so
especially if you have like archers, you have to think,
totally.
you have to think, you have to be at least 3 spaces away from your opponent, and you got some characters though that they could shoot or attack you from afar, and it doesn't matter where you are on the board.
And the good thing about it is that the game comes with 6 different factions. This
Yes.
is 6 different decks. And the 6 different decks, they you go up against each other, but it's actually a lot of gameplay because you may know what a deck has, on its own, but when you play it on a field, it becomes a whole different scenario, a whole different ball game, because now it's like, okay, how are these people placed on the field, and how does it relate to my areas? And you can put up walls, you can do up certain types of spells, and
Oh yeah,
each faction has
that's another
completely different
thing.
things.
With the walls, the only time you could summon the creatures if you have walls, and they have to be adjacent, either horizontally or vertically.
Yeah, there's not really anything that has to do with anything diagonally. It's
No.
very much linear. But the game is very cool. I mean, you can buy extra armies and stuff, and it's just really, really neat. The play is so that when you use up all it's very easy to burn your whole deck. And so the games are quite short. They're not that long, but it has like a ton of strategy, a lot of replay value, a lot of potential. So if you want to go get this, I would highly recommend this game. What would you give this game?
I would give this an 8.
8?
8 being, or like 1 to 10, 10 being the highest. I would give this
You
an
would put Flash Duel over this game?
8. Oh.
You rated Flash Duel a 10.
Well, yeah.
No,
but
I would take this one is way over Flash Duel. I would put Flash Duel as an 8 and this one a 10.
Well, but the thing is with Flash Duel, especially the designer of the game, he thought his design all the way through, especially with the other games that he came out with. Everything fit in the board perfectly, especially when you divided your characters.
Yeah, the one thing I didn't really like about Flash Duel was that the battles were really short. One hit and you're dead. And
yeah, but it's a quick game. It's something that you could just bring anywhere.
I just like this one because it's got a little more strategy to it, and
yeah, and the thing with this, normally the way you would hold your deck, it's actually quite different. You hold them vertically, so the gameplay changes a lot, and it kind of brings you back to how you would play chess and how you would lay your cards in the board.
yeah, it's
So
a
it's
great
really
game.
different.
So Plaid Hat Games, plaid is in like the pattern plaid, Plaid Hat Games, PLAID. Summoner Wars, you should get it. It's a great game. If you want to get more armies, there are certainly a lot more armies that you can buy. There are a couple of dual armies like that. That's like elves versus phoenixes or something or whatever. But there's 2 of them that have 2 armies each in them, and the rest of them are all like single packs that are complete armies. So the combinations are great. Some armies are really good at freezing people. Some are really good at long range. Some are really good at burning. Doing like consistent damage over time, and it's just to me again, it's a great game, and you should go out and get it.
Yeah, and I'm like the long range kind of person, just because the one character that really sticks out to me are the elves. I just love their features. It's so sexy with their long ears and how it parts the hair.
Well, I know what I'm doing for Halloween.
Wow, that is going to be the worst Legolas cosplay in history.
All right, and that is our board game segment. Thank you, Raina. I really appreciate it. And we'll be back with more 1337 on UrbanizedRadio.com.
The sound of bad cosplay.
The sound of This is Mouse from Radio 1337, and you're listening to Urban Nights Radio, the sound of artists. We're back, Radio 1337, UrbanizedRadio.com, Sound of Artists, talking about weapons. And speaking of weapons, Vixen.
Hey.
I haven't heard from you in a while. Well, I haven't heard from you since last week, right?
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah, that was a long time. You know, I miss my Vixen fix.
Well, I'm glad I can resupply.
Can you tell us about our new weapon of the week, Miss Vixen?
Yeah, this week's weapon is the hammer, or more specifically, the warhammer.
Like the one that, like, if I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning, I'd hammer in the evening all over this land. With a little fork at the end you can pull out nails with.
No.
Because that would be practical and warlike.
No, but...
That's more serial killer-like. That's like in the middle of a zombie apocalypse style warhammer.
Or just working in the
what you
shell.
could do is you can
or
just
in
stick
shed.
stick the chisel end in their head and just crack open
The
their
fork
head.
end?
Huh?
The fork end?
Yeah,
The fork end. That's what they call it. Yes, that's what I think I'll call it. I'll call it the fork end.
No, not that kind of hammer. Something similar in design, though.
All right, so tell us about the Warhammer, hun.
The warhammer is one...
Yeah, they call you hun. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was ignoring it.
the creepiness level just rose.
What?
in this
I'll think of Attila the Hun. There we go. Wrong Hun, but oh
with a hammer.
well. Anyways, the hammer is believed to be one of the first weapons or tools. It was used as you'd think a hammer would be used to smash down rocks, wood, bone, or anything that got in their way or they needed to break. Any people, anyways. Well, it was later developed as a weapon, which, go fig. Hey, warring people. hey, I have this hard object. I can crush skulls.
I will break you.
Which way? Which limb first? There we go.
I think if you were at the business end of a hammer, I don't think it really care where it hits. It's gonna hit and it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, the design was. Oh God, the design was heavily coveted by soldiers for close range, because with a blade, it'll bounce off a hard object, or if you're wearing armor, it's just not gonna do much damage. As opposed to if you have a hammer, which is large, heavy, and blunt, you're gonna at least cause a concussion. At least. At least.
Even if it hits you on the leg.
Yeah.
Oh, concussion on the head. Oh, you hit
Well,
my
you're gonna
leg.
break
How does
something.
that happen?
You break the leg, they fall over. I don't know. Hey, you asked.
And there goes your kickstand.
Oh God. Anyways, the design is a long handle with the iconic hammer end. What changed about the design was that in the Middle Ages, around I believe it was 1700 or the 17th century, not 1700. Oof, sorry. Long day.
Wow, I could hear that fizz bomb. That's staying in.
At least that was one of my quieter ones. It was the 17th century or Middle Ages. They developed the Warhammer, which is a longer handle and much heavier. It also has a spike on the other end of the face of the hammer. That way you could also do penetration. Have fun with that.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
A hammer and a
The-
penetration.
Oh
Ooh.
God.
It goes in deep.
Weapons that
Oh my god, that's hilarious. It only reminds me of Captain Hammer. And yeah. The hammer is my penis.
Oh God. I don't want to say this next part then. The longer the handle was, the longer range you had.
And that goes without saying. And there goes our show. No, I'm kidding.
Oh God.
Oh.
They could be as short as a mace or as long as a halberd, which both were covered in previous episodes.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. But
So it could be one-handed or two-handed.
Yeah.
And the longer the shaft is, you'd probably want two hands on it, right?
Or more.
So that, or more, right? So
Have a
that
struggle.
more people can handle it.
Yeah, you gotta cup these things.
Well, there's a certain amount of control when you're swinging around your hammer, and you got to make sure that that it hits true.
there aren't a lot of games that actually use the traditional Warhammer design. They tend to lean towards more of the blunt-ended on both sides hammer. Some of
I
the
will
games
tell you a character that has that Warhammer design.
I said not many.
I will tell
Go
you,
ahead- go
or
ahead.
right after you talk about your little friends that have, on your little sheet of paper that you give me. Go ahead.
I didn't know I was supposed to be filming for
Go,
a
go,
long
go,
amount of
go,
time,
go,
but
go,
okay.
go, go.
Some characters that have the more modern interpretation of the Warhammer are Go-Fig, Thor, from the video game Thor, the God of Thunder,
And movies.
and movies, of course. Gotta love the Avengers. Amy Rose, if you remember from Sonic, she had a big red hammer.
That was one of the worst campaigns in that game.
Well, yeah, I'm not a fan of Amy, but I'll take her over other characters any day. King Dedede from Super Smash Brothers, or even
DDD.
Kirby. King Dedede.
DDD. DDD.
Kind of looks like you now that I'm looking at that picture.
What? Me pointing in the air.
From Dark Souls, Smo. Also use a
Smo?
very massive hammer. It's actually about the size of his body.
What about the Hammer Brothers?
I did not put them in there because I figured go fig, Hammer Brothers.
Hammer
Mario.
Brothers? Well, the Hammer Brothers.
Don't the
right?
ice climbers use a hammer? Kind of
Yes,
thing
they
too?
do.
Ice climbers do use.
Mhm.
They actually use picks. They don't use hammers.
It looks like hammers in,
In
the,
Super Smash Brothers, they used hammers.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Not
I
sure
thought it
they
was
use
they
hammers.
use. I thought they use picks.
No.
Cause
They
that's
probably
how
have
that's what they use to,
multiple-
They,
get up.
they probably have multiple,
Yeah.
but the main attack weapon that they use in Brawl is the hammer. And they do that stupid dolphin sounding spin
So-
attack.
I present to you Ramona Flowers.
I was trying not to use her. I was.
But she
really
does
Why
use
not?
the Warhammer design though.
And she is sexy as hell.
and that's what it was very, very well stated in the lounge earlier today. It was kind of irritating how much they said, please put her in, but I couldn't find a video game with her.
No. There is the Scott Pilgrim
I-
versus the World video game. It was 8-bit.
Cool. I did not
she's
know
in that.
this.
And if not that, I mean, come on. We just talked about WWE. You know, they've had a bunch of wrestling games, so at the
I
same
thought
time,
you said it was a Warhammer.
Scott Pilgrim was based.
So you talk
on,
about Warhammer design where it was just a long shaft with big old.
See, you
and she
got
could
it.
work
Vixen.
that shaft.
See, you said that it was a tradition. You have a character with a Warhammer. It's like, I thought you were talking about like the traditional design with the spike on the end.
Look, we just want to talk about a sexy woman with a hammer.
Well, too bad.
I did that.
Go get hammered later.
Can we talk about the little
No.
sword thing that Roxy Richter used next week, just so that we have an excuse to talk about Mae Whitman?
Maybe.
'Cause
I'll let you have that
God.
one. Maybe.
That I never expected to ever hear Mae Whitman moan, and I never expected to be so impressed by it.
Other characters that use the Warhammer.
Scott Pilgrim is such a great movie, guys. Continue, Vixen. I'm sorry.
I
but
was more
I love
into
that movie.
Envy Adams.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
my
she was
God.
great too. But
Other characters that you
uh,
see iconically using Warhammers are smithing characters like dwarves, gnomes, or massive characters that have a lot of mass. Go fit. Oh, that was
so all the characters no one plays.
pretty much like larger, heavier characters that are much slower but have a lot of power. You generally see with larger, blunt objects like clubs, hammers.
Paladins would sometimes use hammers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, cool. Is there anything else you want to add about this hammer thing with the hammers and the shaft and the pointy end and
I think you
penetration?
guys have had enough fun with that, honestly. But hey, I could be wrong. You guys could go for hours.
Oh yeah, you know it.
They're equipped.
You know what's going to happen next week? We're going to talk about the Saints Row weapon, that big, huge dildo, and we're just going to say nothing about it. We're just going to be like, oh, that's a very nice weapon. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can hit people with it. Yeah, I like that weapon. We're
It
never
was
going to
really
go
good
into
for
any
bludgeoning
innuendos, and we're
stuff.
just going to just be like, yeah, cool.
The one day I actually do go after that weapon. No. Just no.
All right, and that's your is that it?
That's it for
All
this
right,
week.
well, thank you very much, Miss Vixen. That was our weapon segment, and we are about to go. But I think do we have? I heard on the news. It was pretty funny that a plumber saved a woman's life in New York.
A plumber?
I'm kind of scared now.
Like how? Was she drowning or
What
something?
train of
It's-
thought
so a
led
lot
to
of
this
people-
piece
a lot-
of news?
Drowning
lot of
in
people
the
are thinking-
toilet? What?
I'm thinking a lot of people
Bullies.
are referring to like, oh yeah, Super Mario Brothers. No, it isn't. It's an actual plumber saved a woman's life. And so
Is
what
he
happened was that,
Is he Italian?
it probably was anyway. The
Well, it is New York.
so in front of the Dr. Oz show. The
Yes,
Dr. Oz show.
Yeah.
The Dr. Oz that does like relationship advice or like medical advice or whatever.
No one listening knows, but go on.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so in front of the Dr. Oz offices, right, there was an accident. A woman got hit. She was walking along. She got hit by a car, severed her leg, right? And a plumber came by and applied a tourniquet on her leg. And Dr. Oz came down. Apparently, he found out that there was an accident from his building. He came out and treated the lady after the guy put the tourniquet on. Treated her until the medical, the paramedics
The
came.
medics, yeah.
And what Dr. Oz said was that if it weren't for the plumber putting the tourniquet on the lady's leg, she would bleed out. She would have died. Hence, giving credit to the plumber for saving the woman's life. And I thought that was funny because it totally reminds me of Super Mario Brothers, but,
Cool.
kind of in a
No
real way.
mushrooms necessary, too.
No mushrooms necessary.
Were they able
bloop, bloop,
to
bloop.
save the leg?
Yeah, I don't know if they were able to save the leg, but I just know that happened, and I actually heard it on the radio, and the first thing I thought was, "Oh, it's a Mario." That's the first thing I heard.
Honestly, I think like even if it gets separated, you have probably like maybe less than 48 hours.
It
to
also
put
depends
back
on the condition of the
Yeah.
appendage that was chopped
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean, I've never really thought of car crash equaling, severing of a limb. So I can only imagine it's probably in multiple pieces and not very.
Well,
Reattachable.
judging New York
You're
and
gonna be
its
headless
road
Nick.
conditions, wow.
Yeah.
Never know what happens there.
There was probably at least 3 different people's urine on the leg as well.
Ooh, nasty.
But probably not unfounded.
Mm.
I've been to New York, so I kind of
Yeah,
have
it's,
a biased opinion.
yeah.
I don't.
Oh
Wow.
boy. Anyway, does anyone have anything else to
Yes,
say?
yes, yes.
Oh, whoa.
Oh.
Raina's got.
Calm down.
Oh, you-
Oh, sorry.
And she's waited until after I did my news bit segment, and
She's stealing your thunder, man.
no, she did
Hey.
last time,
Well,
but
she
now
already
she's
stole your
coming
game
in
segment.
afterwards. What?
Yeah, she
It's
did.
like first she stole the news, then she stole the game segment. Now she's coming back, crashing back into the news.
Yeah, there's a storm coming.
I'm like, pretty soon, when it's not even gonna have you on the show. It's just gonna
Oh.
be all about her.
Oh man.
Apparently, that's what's gonna happen. But anyway, tell us, Raina, what's up?
Oh well, to have an opportunity for the listeners, PS Vita, the price has dropped down to $200.
Oh, so people who don't give a care about the Vita can still not give a care about the Vita.
Well,
Sounds about right.
I honestly
Did you know?
I own one.
I didn't realize, and I know they touted it, but I just remembered that it actually had touch capability on the screen. Oh yeah, you're supposed to use that for
Well,
something.
it's a powerful handheld game, and I actually own one too, which is funny.
You know,
actually,
the
and I wanna
powerful
buy
handheld
another
game console was the Game Gear, and look where it went. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
but
went there
well, the thing is, I can't wait for Borderlands to come out. So
on PS Vita.
yeah,
Borderlands on Vita.
Borderlands on Vita.
Wow. Well, I mean,
That does not
Borderlands is a
compute in
good
my
game.
mind.
I mean, to me, it's a good game.
Oh, it is.
Still need to finish 2.
Mm.
No, I swear, I'm at 2. And what happens at the end of 2 is that some of the characters come back, and I'm spoiling it for a lot of people. I don't give a care because, this game has been around for a long time. So at the very end of the Borderlands 2, right, you're going into the final area, and some of the characters come back, and they help you fight the monsters, right? And I know I've talked about this in an episode before, right? So you go fight the
have.
monsters, and for some reason, I got like halfway in, and I had to go somewhere. And so I was like, crap. So I turned it off, and I'm thinking, like, if I go back to the beginning, they'll be back again. No, I had to fight my way back to that part. And there's like tons of enemies that come at you. And I have I'm pretty powerful myself, but man, I got to raise up some levels because there's a lot of like enemies that are freaking too overpowered. They're just kicking my ass. Anyway, that's my little. I need to finish that stupid game.
That was. The
Yeah.
Mouse's
Okay. Do you have
da-
anything else, Raina?
That was amazing.
Well, that's all.
That was
I
Mouse's
mean,
daily rant.
take advantage if you're interested in buying the PS Vita. I mean, hey, $200. Well, because I mean, if it was $300, people wouldn't really buy it.
You know,
it wouldn't
I
sell
didn't.
as well.
I also heard news that the PS3 was actually going to be going down to, I believe, $200 for the 12 gig. I think it's 12
Mhm.
gig. It's like a really small, compact version. But I'll talk about that next week. Anyway, if you don't have anything else, that's cool. All right,
That is
Tengu, you got
it.
something?
That'd be kind of cool, like a $400 combo pack.
Yeah, that would be.
PS4
Hey,
and,
that
a
actually
PS3
sounds
and
that
a
sounds
Vita
cool.
combo pack. I'd get it.
Oh.
Give me a reason to finally get a PS3. Even though I'm
I
getting a
do
4.
want to get a PS3 eventually because I can get like the old games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Vixen, you got something?
No, I don't have anything particular.
All right, then we're out of here. Look at this. We're just like 4 people chilling in a little like ice box here in Southern California, hanging out. It's really hot outside. Over here, it's really hot. It's super hot out here. It's like reaching 3 digits out here. And I swear, I really
Will
want
be
to
on
stay
its
in.
way. Just saying.
Yeah, well, winter. Anyway, so that's it for Radio 1337 in this nice hour of power. This is Mouse, and to my immediate left is
Tengu.
and to his left is,
Reina.
and to her left is,
Vixen.
and we're out of here. Radio 1337 on urbaniceradio.com, the sound of artists. Gonna say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
It's hammer time tonight.
Oh, God. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.